Hi! I have 5.5 more rackets to string before I can share some information with you. And if you're wondering what that information might be, you can guess it from the title of this video. In the meantime, here's a clip of our recent fireworks show at the resort. Before I get into the content of this video, I wanted to know if there's a significant difference in static weight when comparing various string materials. So here are my findings. Here's a chart that I put together, and for each of the string materials, I measured out 40 feet to make sure that the length was exactly the same. The gauge, I went with 17 gauge, but I also indicated in millimeters what's labeled on the packaging, and then I took the static weight in grams. So let's take a look at the first string material, and this would be a nylon string, and I picked print synthetic gut in the 1.25 gauge, and the weight came out at 17.6 grams. Then next we have a polyester Babolat RPM Blast 1.25, and you can see that it's actually about 3 grams heavier in weight. We have natural gut, the Babolat VS Power 1.25 gauge, and it did come out comparable to polyester. So that makes sense because I have noticed that whenever I string rackets with polyester or natural gut, they do tend to come out higher in swing weight. Our fourth string here is a Zyx, or also known as Peak Strings, made by Ashaway. It's a monogut ZX Pro. Their 17 gauge version, it comes in 1.22 millimeters. But it is a heavy string. You can see that's about 1.5 grams heavier than these two, so it is a heavier material. Now the fourth one I have here, I'm not going to show you what it is yet, but it's at 40 grams. Now it's not a string that's currently sold, but I thought, just for trivia's sake, I thought I would share it with you. And the gauge is actually 20 gauge, and so the millimeters is 0.98. Can you guess what this string was back in the mid-90s? Yes, it's a Gamma Edge 20, which was a metal hybrid string. So this 40 here is not the actual weight, but let me bring a package over here so you can see what it's like. So this is a string here. It's a hybrid string, and the metal string was used for the mains. And what I did is I weighed that, and then I just doubled it. So that's how I got 40 grams. But if you were to use the actual hybrid, where you have a synthetic gut here as the cross string, it still would come out to 30 grams. So, I mean, that's still pretty high compared to all of these strings. So anyway, I thought it was interesting because I was always curious myself to know what the weight of these strings were. So now let's get into the subject matter of this video. And basically I was curious to find out, when stringing a racket with the same string in different gauges, what the swing weight difference would be. So what I did is I took 3 rackets, and I purposely wanted to make sure it was the same type of racket with the same string pattern. So what I did is I did one in a 1.25, a 1.30, and a 1.35 gauge. Then I took another 3 rackets and did the same thing with a polyester string. So now let's take a look at this information. All right, so let's take a look at the first 3 rackets that I strung with print synthetic gut. Now the static weight, I have it in grams and ounces, but we'll just pay attention to the grams. And what I did is I weighed the racket before and after, and so that's how I got these numbers here. So you can see that the 13, the 14, and the 15 all kind of went along with the thickness of the gauge. So that was good to see the consistency there. Then the swing weight, you can see how that was affected, and it made sense that as the weight went up, the swing weight went up. So there's just a very gradual swing weight difference here because of the fact that the weight of the strings were just in 1 gram increments. For the polyester, I picked the Prince Vortex Triad, and I had all 3 gauges, so that's what I went with. The weight here is 15, And the weight on this one is 18. I don't know, there was a big jump between these two, and then this one was only 1 gram of difference here. And so if you take a look at the swing weight, it does reflect the weight difference. You see that there was 28 here. It jumped to 33 because of this weight difference here, and then it went up to 35. So you can see that the difference between a synthetic gut and a polyester string in this case, for these two strings, and it might be different for other synthetic guts and polyester strings, that there was quite a bit of difference between the swing weight. So there was an 8 unit difference here, a 9 unit difference here, and a 5 unit difference here. So for some players, they might be able to tell a 5 unit difference in swing weight. I would say the average player could probably tell about 10 units of difference. But I just wanted to share this information so that I could find out, and I hope that you found this interesting. Now, I don't know if you wondered why I went through the trouble of stringing these 6 rackets just to find out if there's a swing weight difference in string materials in 3 different gauges. But there's actually another reason, and I plan to post a video in a couple of weeks. So let's make this fun. I'm going to have a contest to see who can guess first why I did this. So to enter this contest, first, you have to be living in the United States. Second, post your guess in the comments, and if you're the first one to guess the right answer, then I'll be happy to send you this towel, the Royal Kona Resort Tennis Club towel, and it's a very nice towel. I'll mail it to you, and it's my thank you for supporting this channel. Thanks for watching. Happy stringing. And let your strings play.